At the Riverdale alumni mixer, old friends suddenly started gossiping about the guy I used to crush on, Julian. I laughed it off, waving my hand like it was ancient history. Julian? Nah, it felt like he didn't like me, so I bailed. Though at his commencement gala I faked drunk, threw my arms around him, and stole a kiss. Heh, I still blush when I think about it. Everyone stared at me, eyes twitching in panic. I twisted around, and there he was. Julian? I leapt up, hunting for something, anything, to cancel the cringe. But he pinned me with a stare, irises glassy, rims scarlet, like a puppy begging its owner for mercy. So you were pretending to be wasted, you have to take responsibility. Honestly, after all these years, I never expected to see him again. Sophomore year field day, one glimpse of Julian sprinting down the track, face unfairly perfect, and I was a goner. I bribed a mutual friend for his number and then launched a full-on siege. But Julian seemed frost-proof. First, following Haley's playbook, I waited courtside at the varsity game with chilled water. He took the bottle, didn't even look at me, just pivoted and sprinted back onto the hardwood. Next I audited every class in his major just to clock extra minutes beside him. Yet the guy who could demolish opponents in debate meets couldn't meet my eyes when we talked. He tugged my sleeve, mumbling, "Serena, maybe stop crashing our lectures, don't you have better things to do?" Felt like a slap. When I replayed it for Haley, her eyebrows shot to her hairline. No way, Julian's usually a smooth talker, why the ice act? I cracked sunflower seeds, sneering. Whatever, he thinks I'm useless and isn't into me. Haley studied me, brows dancing. Plenty of hot fish, babe. Next? Okay, I admit it, total serial crusher. After enrolling at Riverdale U, the boys I'd fallen for at first sight needed 2 hands to count. So, 0 feedback received, I ditched the mission. Soon I shifted sights to an underclassman in my own department and started flirty texting. Out of nowhere, Julian began lighting up my phone. Haley ordered me to ghost him. Listen, 0 dating experience here, but I know this trick. He's hooked on your worship. The second you quit chasing, withdrawal kicked in, so he's tossing you bait. Bite once and he'll go cold again. You sure? I eyed the self-proclaimed guru. Trust me, I've been the simp enough times to decode the simped. Fine, buying it. I iced Julian out, he vanished from my life. I assumed that was the epilogue, until the senior commencement gala crashed the credits. Serena, rumor says 2 bonus credits if we volunteer. Pass. We'll basically be waitressing for the graduating seniors. I lay in bed scrolling thirst trap abs videos, ignoring Haley. It's not waitressing, it's snapping pics for them and stacking chairs. Plus it's month end and we've inhaled ramen for a week. We can raid the grad party petit fours. Petit fours? I rolled over. I'm in. Days of MSG noodles, free mini cakes were non-negotiable. At the volunteer briefing I spotted Julian for the first time in ages. Dude had clearly leveled up, a plain white tee clung to him, faint abs ridges rippling underneath. Almost gave me a nosebleed. I was between flirtations, and the second I saw him the one-track playlist in my skull autoplayed Love at First Sight. I gulped some courage and teetered toward him. One stagger later, wine cascaded down his shirt. The drenched fabric glued to his skin, every line on display, absolute masterpiece. Standing on tiptoe, I pecked the corner of his mouth. When my brain rebooted, he stood frozen. Knowing he didn't like me, I improvised, collapse against him and fake drunk, cop a quick feel while I was at it. Haley turned, saw the spectacle, yanked me up, and dragged me away. Next morning Julian texted, something he never did. Serena, do you remember last night? No way was I confessing. I blacked out after the 3rd glass, no clue. Typing dots pulsed forever, then oh, okay. After that, silence. I followed only his socials, watched him join a top firm, make manager, live the dream. Never thought we'd collide again, until tonight's mixer. I stared at misty-eyed Julian, words stuck. Before I could decide, he seized my wrist and pulled me into the corridor. I'd worn a killer dress to impress old classmates. October nights on the East Coast bite, outside, goosebumps raced up my bare arms. Julian noticed, opened his coat, and folded me inside. He radiated heat, pressed this close, I could almost hear his heartbeat. Still cold? His voice drifted from above. I lifted my face, realized how suggestive we looked, and tried to step back. He tightened his hold. Serena, you can't keep stringing me along. A tear splashed onto my forehead, startling, warm. Julian was crying? I couldn't compute, in my version he'd never liked me. How had I become the player? I opened my mouth. Julian, loosen up a bit, you're crushing me. He eased a fraction but kept me locked in. I'm not letting go until you explain. Otherwise you're not leaving. Helpless, I sighed. Fine, kissing you while fake drunk was trash behavior, but it's ancient history. Let it go, I was only joking. Joking? He released me, eyes flashing. Hilarious, huh? Am I your dog, Serena? That's not what I meant. You knew I liked you, wanting to be close wasn't some prank. I'm sorry, okay? Don't be mad. So you did like me, enough to kiss me. Then why did you drop me like nothing happened? Why throw me away? That was years ago. We've both moved on. I'm sorry, please forgive me. My phone rang, I answered automatically and Derek's voice spilled out. Serena, your wedding gown sketches made the next round. Seriously? As a fashion designer, I'd recently entered a bridal design contest. If I could win an award, I'd stop being a nobody in the industry. I lifted my head and looked at Julian. Julian, something came up at work, gotta run. I'm really sorry about that. Julian grabbed my sleeve, looking suddenly deflated. You're still the same, ready to drop me the second something shiny appears. You can't leave. You have to take responsibility for what you did. Who could understand the meltdown of a paycheck slave? I had no choice, I improvised on the spot. Julian, how about you drive me to Vance? I batted my lashes at him. Right then, nothing trumped my job. Julian glanced up, gave a small nod, and pulled me into the car. When we reached the lobby, I was halfway out when he trapped my hand in his. I'm coming in with you. Huh? Together, or I don't let go. His eyes were turning red again. Wait, how had I never noticed Julian was this prone to tears? Still, that burly frame paired with his delicate, wounded stare made me weirdly want to kiss him. Fine, Julian. I didn't want to waste minutes in the car, so I caved. The second we stepped inside, I yanked free and sprinted to Derek. Derek, I'm back. I skidded to a stop in front of him, buzzing to ask about the next stage, only Derek stepped past me and shook the hand of the man behind me. President Vance, what brings you here? I swiveled, dumbstruck. The teary, wrong boy expression was gone. Julian's face now broadcast 3 bold words, don't touch me. All frost and no entry. Manager Derek, Serena, and I are old friends. I gave her a lift and decided to take a look around. Derek swung toward me. Little Vance, hurry, get Vance some water. No need, Julian cut in smoothly. This competition you mentioned sounds intriguing. Could you brief me, details, rules, judging criteria, the works? Derek ushered Julian into a side conference room and launched into the bridal contest spiel. Watching them through the glass, I didn't know whether to laugh or sob. I'd advanced, yet Derek ignored me and kissed up to Julian? I knew Julian was powerful, but not this powerful. Nothing I could do except park myself on the sofa outside and wait. Roughly half an hour later they re-emerged. Derek beamed and shoved me gently toward Julian. Little Vance, congratulations on moving forward. As one of Vance's majority stakeholders, Vance sees huge potential in you. The finals are critical, so he'll accompany you to Northbridge for the last stage. What? Julian was a Vance shareholder, and he was flying to the finale with me? My brain blue screened. Tomorrow morning you two head for Northbridge. Little Vance, bring home that grand prize. With that, Derek spun off to tackle his next crisis, leaving Julian and me alone. Julian, this is, Serena, come with me. He drove me home, and at my doorstep he gazed down as if he couldn't bear to leave. Serena, I'll pick you up tomorrow. Sure, Julian. Time zipped by. The next morning he was idling at the curb exactly on schedule. Serena. The moment I stepped off the stoop he took my suitcase and, without asking, laced his fingers through mine. Just like a couple drunk on honeymoon hormones. Julian. He read my stiffness but kept my hand shackled in his. Let's go, Serena. Whatever, holding hands with a gorgeous guy isn't exactly a loss. Cheered by that logic, I boarded the passenger seat, destination Northbridge. Julian drove the whole way. The trip was long and eventually I dozed off. When I opened my eyes we'd arrived. Weird, why did my lips feel damp? Serena, we're here. Good nap? He studied me, radiating good mood. Julian, thanks for driving all that way. No trouble. I volunteered. The finals aren't for 2 weeks. I keep a place here, we'll stay there. Only then did I notice we weren't at a hotel. In your house? He didn't answer, just grabbed my luggage and motioned me out. Fine by me, free luxury beats a hotel any day. I trailed him up the path. Which floor, Julian? Whole villa, Serena. Second level isn't cleaned, so we'll stick to the first, but there are only 2 bedrooms down here. Pick whichever you like. Rich people problems were beyond my pay grade. Julian towed me to a corner suite, cavernous room, and by pure coincidence every design detail matched my taste profile. Julian, who knew your taste was this good? I drifted around, touching fabrics, running fingers over moldings. This space is gorgeous. I spun back and caught him watching me, dimples showing. As long as you like it. I love it, thanks, Julian. Serena, 2 weeks. Hole up and create, I'll take responsibility for everything else. Wasn't this level of pampering overkill, unless the contest meant mega money to him? Then I remembered, investor, shareholder. Right, if I win, Vance levels up, and so does his net worth. In that case, bring on the royal treatment. Once I bag the prize, I'll be the company hero. Deal, thanks, Julian. During our Northbridge stint, something about Julian felt off. Days, I sketched in his sunlit studio, he holed up in his wing, never leaving, yet couriered in every obscure delicacy I'd never tasted. Nights, the man morphed into a fox spirit. I keep designer hours, work till 6, then brain off detox. Julian emerged from his lair at 6 sharp to cook, shirtless but for an apron. Who could focus on food with a slab of sculpted chest plating the stove? Pure seduction on the half-shell. After plating, he'd shed the apron, set the dish in front of me, and sit across the table, staring. How was a girl supposed to swallow? First couple of evenings I held out, by night 4 he upgraded wardrobe. Yes, that kind. Every dusk, Julian drifted past me in those outfits, and my thoughts went rated R lethal temptation. Yet I'm all appetite, no action. Maybe Julian has an exhibitionist kink? But hey, I'm just an employee, no commentary from the cheap seats. The day before the finals finally arrived. I stared at the sketch portfolio I had polished again and again, and the nerves kicked in. Truth was, I had started this design ages ago. It was a wedding gown for my mom. My parents divorced when I was little, so every childhood memory that surfaces shows mom toiling away. For my sake she never remarried, she was terrified a stepfather might treat me badly, just like my real father had. If your own blood can't be counted on, how could a stranger? She worked herself to the bone her whole life, yet she never mentioned money in front of me. I knew how hard it was, how she ate the cheapest ramen alone, yet whenever I was around she always said the same line, Serena, we're not short of cash. Tell me whatever you want. Because of that, she paid for my art classes and my design degree. After graduation, living away from her, I came to understand the emotional needs of middle-aged people. I realized she'd stayed single only because of me. So I started nudging her to meet new men. At first she resisted, but as time went by she began seeing uncles who genuinely liked her. Finally, she settled down with one of them. Every time I visit and see how happy they are together, my heart fills with gratitude and relief. That's why I decided to design a wedding gown for her, to give her the perfect wedding. The sketch had existed in rough form for a long while, and tomorrow I'm taking it to the competition venue. Champion or not, I'm going to make it real and gift it to Mom. Competition day. Julian showed up like a gentleman, knocked, and drove me to the hall. He looked positively human today. Remembering how scantily he dresses at home and comparing that to this night.I version, I couldn't help clicking my tongue at the contrast. My turn was almost up, the previous contestants were outstanding, my palms were sweating again. Suddenly a hand clasped mine. It was Julian. Serena, don't be nervous. Your design is going to be amazing. Then he kissed the corner of my lips. I blanked for a few seconds, the anxiety vanished, replaced by unexpected shyness. What are you doing? That's what you owe me. Forgot? Julian leaned to my ear, his breath tickled. Go get him, Junior. I believe in you. Next, please welcome contestant number 6, Serena, to present her work. The announcer called my name and I walked onto the stage. After every contestant had shown their pieces, we retreated backstage to wait for the final result. The wait was torture. Serena, if you win the grand prize, will you promise me one thing? What thing? Seriously, I'm dying of nerves and he's babbling. Promise first. The results are finally being announced. Voices drifted from the front, but Julian kept whispering in my ear, say yes, Junior, please. So annoying. Julian, they're reading the winners, zip it for a sec. If you don't promise, I'll keep begging, please. Fine, I promise, just hush. I caved to shut him up. The second I finished, the front stage voice rang out crystal clear, and our grand prize winner is Serena. My brain short-circuited. I won. Before I could react, Julian gently ushered me from backstage to the spotlight. Applause from the artists below blurred in front of my teary eyes. I don't remember how I got back. Only that after stepping down, several legacy design houses offered collaborations. Julian handled the small talk while excitement fried my brain. He helped me out of the car. Junior, congratulations. I stared at him. Are you happy, Junior? Julian, thank you. I still can't process it, this glory hit me too fast. It isn't sudden at all. Your talent guaranteed the win. We stepped inside. Wait here, Junior. I'll cook. We're celebrating your gold today. Okay. While I answered congratulatory messages, Derek spammed me with flattery. Serena subordinate, no, Professor Serena. Your Vance's hero. Awaiting your triumphant return tomorrow. Just as I started typing a reply, Julian walked out, wearing a bunny suit. I froze. What the hell? The moment we're on his turf he flips the switch? My face burned as he approached, the outfit was lethal. Junior. He set a steak before me, poured a splash of red, then sat. I could see his cheeks were redder than mine, flushed with embarrassment, and something like enjoyment. What on earth was he planning? Julian, you don't like it? I wore it just for you. His voice was husky, restrained. Serena, do you like me like this? Julian, before I could finish, he gulped wine and kissed me, feeding it drop by drop into my mouth. We didn't sleep a wink that night. When I opened my eyes again, Julian and I were in the same bed. He gazed at me, lips curled in a faint, foolish smile. Serena, you're awake. Naturally, he slid a hand to my waist and rubbed slow circles. Were you satisfied last night? I turned bright red. Julian, Derek's waiting for us, move it. I rushed through a shower and change, ready to leave Northbridge for Vance. In that much of a hurry? Haha, yep. He packed at a snail's pace, totally on purpose, then threw the covers off, stark naked. I spun away. He strolled up and hugged me from behind, unfazed. I've already let you touch everything, and you're still shy to look. Help. What is this man doing to me? I bolted out and waited in the corridor. Eventually he emerged, respectable once more. I started wondering if he had a split personality. Let's go. On the ride back, Julian kept pelting me with questions. Junior, do you like kids? Boys or girls? Which city should we live in? I've got houses everywhere. What's gotten into him now? Julian, what are you babbling about? Talking about us. How many kids do we want? Pick a city and I'll buy a house there. I'll listen to you on everything. Can I call you wifey, Junior? Huh? Has this guy been possessed? Julian, what did you just say? About last night, Junior, I'll take responsibility. Julian, let's pretend last night never happened. The instant the words left my mouth, his face darkened. Junior, what do you mean? Julian, let's forget about last night. Maybe I was drunk. There you go again. Huh? Every single time, you use me and then toss me aside. Watching Julian's tears fall, I didn't dare say another word. After all, he was driving. Julian, keep your eyes on the road. Traffic safety starts with us. He ignored me. For the rest of the ride, no matter how many topics I threw out to break the ice, he didn't answer a single one. At last we reached Vance. At last I could escape the suffocating quiet. I yanked the door handle, but Julian leaned over and slammed it shut. Serena, you can't string me along. You have to take responsibility for me. I'm an old-fashioned guy. After what you did, you have to take responsibility. Wait, wasn't it you who seduced me last night? And swapped into that bunny suit? Julian, listen, I won't. My mouth was sealed. Julian kissed like it was retribution, hard and punishing. The instant his lips released mine, his body pressed down. Remember what you said last night? If you took the grand prize, you'd grant me one condition. Only after a long moment did the memory surface. I was speechless. Hadn't he badgered me until I caved? But I didn't dare say so, my lips were already swollen. If I misspoke and he got mad, he'd probably kiss me silent again. I want you to promise you'll take responsibility for me. Julian, get up first. Give me a few days to think. Julian was furious. I hadn't seen him since we parted that day. I threw myself into Mom's wedding prep instead. She wore the wedding gown I'd designed, breathtaking, standing beside Richard like a matched set of china. I was happy. After everything, Mom had found her own happiness again. But she looked uneasy. Just before the ceremony she pulled me aside. Mom, congratulations. All these years you gave up your own joy for me. Today I'm celebrating you. Serena, thank you. But I hope you'll drop the knot in your heart too. I knew what she meant. Because of your father, you've always feared loss, convinced love will betray you. Yet good men exist, look at Richard. I dropped my gaze. In elementary school I'd finally learned why Mom and Dad divorced. Dad had cheated. He'd run off with a younger woman, stripping our accounts clean, leaving Mom to raise me on nothing. Children's cruelty is random. I was the girl with no daddy. Your dad bailed. Your mom got tossed aside. The insults carved grooves so deep they never faded. After hearing enough, I built a high wall inside myself. I feared dating, feared wounds. Flirtation felt safe, relationships didn't. I never dared step past the threshold of intimacy. All these years Mom had sensed it. When I lifted my head, tears were already sliding down. Mom, your happiness is enough. Serena, I found mine. You can't stay chained to the past, I want you happy too. Julian texted. Have you decided, Serena? I stared at the message, half amused. Even mad, he still used my full name. Julian, kinda cute. I thought a lot. I'd made it, name made, shelves full of awards. I shouldn't remain a prisoner of yesterday. I wanted to try with Julian. Start with dating. I typed and hit send. Decided, boyfriend. Julian's view, I'm a loner by nature. Always have been. My parents expected perfection. Daily grind of AP classes, piano, dance. I was born to be their measuring stick. Even as a tool, I'd be the sharpest. That became my only value. As planned, I entered Riverdale, then grad school abroad, every step scripted. Family paraded heiresses in front of me, living mergers, not women. I assumed life would stay gray and numb. Then I met her. Haley had twisted her ankle, so I subbed in the varsity game. The moment we won, a girl trotted over asking for my number, claimed Haley liked me. I refused. Yet that night a new contact request blinked on my phone. I meant to ignore it, like always. Marriage and love weren't mine to choose. But she kept reapplying. Over and over. Finally I tapped accept. The second we connected she introduced herself, I'm Serena. I answered with a polite mm. Immediately the bubbles poured in. Julian, you were blazing at the track meet. How tall are you, Julian? Got a girlfriend, Julian? I don't have a boyfriend, Julian. I stayed silent, expecting her to quit. She never did. Curiosity sprouted, what did she look like? I posted deliberately, pick up b-ball at the outdoor court tonight. I wondered, would she come? 2 games, no sign of her. Gave up fast. But as I turned to leave, she appeared, breathless, cheeks flushed. Julian, water? Gorgeous. I wanted to kiss her on the spot. For the first time I heard my own heartbeat. Years of rules, pressure, schedules, Serena crashed through like an off-script improv. I froze, speechless. She pressed the bottle into my hand. All I registered, her skin was silky, her hand tiny. Uncharted territory. I spun back to the court, told myself the thud in my chest was just adrenaline. That night discipline cracked. One quick hack and I owned her entire social feed. No sleep, I read her past, every like. She'd hearted tons of shirtless athletes. That body type? I lifted my own shirt, felt grateful for genetics and gym hours. I started tailing her online, a polished stalker. I leaked my course schedule, praying she'd show. When she did, nerves tied my tongue. Want to kiss her. Want to hold her. Urges spun out of control. She cupped her chin, eyes wide like a kitten's. Cute enough to stop a heart. Finally I admitted, my pulse wasn't from treadmill sprints, it was her. I had zero dating IQ, so I asked Haley. She said, never make the girl chase her, or she'll tire and bail. Understood. Next time Serena crashed my lecture, I stopped her, don't follow me to class. I'll come to you. And I asked what she liked, because from now on I'd be doing it with her. But I was too nervous. I had never been this stiff around anyone, except when I was with her. The moment I saw her, the filthy thoughts in my chest broke free. I reached for her hand, caught only the hem of her sleeve. When my heartbeat slowed a fraction, the words finally crawled out. Serena, don't crash our lectures anymore, don't you have anything better to do? She seemed angry, her brows pinched together, then she walked off. I asked Haley about it. Haley said the way I'd spoken was messed up. I wanted to apologize, but I caught her flirting with another guy. I looked the guy up, her underclassman. 1 second she liked me, the next she was all over him, why? I cornered him and demanded to know why he was hitting on my girl. He sneered. Senior girls dig my type. Jealous? She told me you're boring as hell. do us both a favor and vanish. She'd been the one who started it, teasing me first. Dad once warned me, I'd inherited their genes, camouflage, control, cold brilliance. Whatever I decided to take, I'd use every ounce of strength to seize. I kept telling myself I wasn't like them. Now I see I was wrong. I spammed her with messages, she never answered. Heartless, this wicked woman. I tried to chase her down, but Dad blocked me. One of his overseas deals needed handling, by me. He called up my training ground. Under his orders I was shipped abroad. Still, I couldn't erase her. Every day I refreshed her socials, left comments like any random follower. After months, she started sharing bits of her life with me. I knew the thread between us hadn't snapped. While I carved out an overseas empire, I stalked her online under a throwaway username. I know, creepy, but I couldn't stop. I was terrified she'd toss me aside and choose someone else. When I learned she'd never actually dated the underclassman, just toyed with him, I felt a twisted rush of joy. At last my foreign venture was done, senior year was ending. I saw her again. I played a tiny trick, I slipped Haley some cash, and Haley nudged her into attending the commencement gala. I wore the cut she loved, sleeves rolled to show the muscle. I knew her tastes. Our eyes locked, and the nerves flared fresh. I froze, clueless, but she took the lead. She launched herself at me, landing a kiss on the corner of my mouth. I shifted just enough to lick her, wicked impulse. So sweet. I couldn't move, rooted to the carpet, one thought detonating in my skull, pure bliss. I looked down, she was draped over me, fingers pinching my abs. So the outfit had worked. Then clueless Haley dragged her away. Next morning I wanted to ask, now that we've kissed, what are we? She told me she'd been wasted, remembered nothing. I asked around, friends said she was just shy. Fine, little girls get shy, I could wait. I stayed in town, anchored to her city. She never reached out. My buddies warned, too eager and she'll gag. So I updated my feed just enough for her to see we breathed the same skyline. Still, radio silence. I spied on her in person, overtime every night, swamped. Yet her likes still flowed to shirtless gym selfies, to those bunny suit thirst traps. Was she dropping hints? I quaked at the thought of texting, but I craved a real meeting, a label. I hosted an alumni mixer under the guise of guest lecturer. In the crowd I spotted her back first, I walked over, only to hear her dismissing me. She said she'd given up on me. Claimed the drunken kiss had been fake drunk. Given up? After every lure she'd cast my way, now she cuts bait? Not happening. She had no clue how well I know her, how she adores contrast. I pulled the hurt puppy act and demanded she take responsibility. She owed me that much. I latched on, wherever she went, I followed. I walked straight into Vance, because months earlier I'd quietly bought 49% of it just to breathe her air. With a nudge here, a waiver there, I landed a seat beside her on the contest trip she prized. We'd share a roof for weeks. I rotated a revealing tease daily, she barely glanced. It stung, but I couldn't derail her focus. Competition day, she killed it. Afterward I bribed a staffer, grand prize, Serena, no surprises. Before the public announcement I made her promise me one unnamed favor. She said yes, proof she felt it too. The medal ceremony lit her up, that laugh still curled like a kitten's. Back in the suite I knew tonight was the last shot, once we left Northbridge tomorrow, cohabitation ended. I squeezed into the bunny suit, cheeks burning. Her face flushed crimson, jackpot. I fed her a splash of wine, she let me kiss her, then flipped me and took over. Message received, we were happening. Euphoria detonated in my ribs. Morning came. I floated into talk of tomorrow, joint futures, she told me to forget last night. Wicked woman. But I love her, hopelessly. I iced her out for days, she never once knocked. I'm going insane. I'm a cockroach scuttling in the dark, antennas tuned to every tremor of her life. I cracked and texted her. Wicked, wicked woman. If she strings me along again, I swear I'll swallow the rest of Vance and trap her inside it with me. She answered. She called me boyfriend. At last she handed me the title I'd starved for. Thanks for listening. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this tale? If you liked the video, hit like and share it with friends. We can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories. See you next time.